Hello out there. Well, basically right now we're in the age of the involuntary transsexual, so I expect a lot of negative reviews and a lot of negative comments. The involuntary transsexual, all that means is someone pertaining to a sex that can't exude the energy of the sex that they belong to. So right now we're going to get into this whole Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Lakers situation. So as we all know, LeBron James took Anthony Davis out to dinner, and they most likely discussed playing together. The thing is, that situation should have never occurred, but there's a conflict of interest going on in the NBA where LeBron James, who basically is the owner of Clutch Sports, has Anthony Davis as an agent. So altogether, that whole situation is messed up. And on top of that, we have the NBA fans and the NBA media who are pushing for this situation to occur. How is it that we can't admit that the whole environment around LeBron James really is toxic, as Kevin Durant says? Because as soon as this man signed that dotted line, we knew for a fact that that team was going to be blown up. If you really pay attention to it, besides the Miami Heat, because they didn't have the roster put together, anytime LeBron James goes somewhere, it's to destroy that team. When he went back to Cleveland, he let them collect their young assets when he was gone, came through, had them blow up the team, and he made those trades. He traded for Kevin Love. We know this. We know this. And now he's trying to trade for Anthony Davis. A lot of the players that he thought would come through with him onto the Lakers, they're not coming through. You know what I mean? That environment, honestly, really is toxic. And the thing is, the only reason why Kyrie Irving wants to come back is because he just wants to win. You know what I mean? He understands the environment is toxic. That's why he left the first time. But he can't take losing. We see the way that he acts after every single game. I live in Boston, so I see it. I have the league pass. I watch all the for the most part, I watch all the Celtics games. I watch all the Lakers games. I watch the Lakers games because I'm interested in that drama that's going on there. It's very entertaining. It is very, very entertaining. But you just have to understand what's really going on there. It's like the NBA is basically a soap opera. You know what I mean? Then they're having problems with the coach, LeBron James, sending out his little minions to say that they have issues with the coach when we know that it's him. We know that if Kyrie Irving comes back, for a fact, Luke Walton is fired. When Kyrie Irving and LeBron James play together, they play in an ISO system, which really isn't a system. It's just like I take turns, you take turns, and Luke Walton's trying to run a real system. That guy's gone. That guy's gone. On top of that, I'm hearing things, the same things that everybody else is hearing, that the young players don't like playing with Luke Walton for some sort of reason. I think he's a pretty good coach, and if they do drop him, it said that he'll be picked up by Michael Jordan in Charlotte. You know what I mean? But back on to the topic. This Anthony Davis trade should not go through. The New Orleans Pelicans should not trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and they should not trade Anthony Davis to a team who will potentially flip Anthony Davis to trade them for the Lakers. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? Because the New Orleans Pelicans, when they were the Hornets, and previously, they have been nothing but the NBA's punching bags. I'm gonna have a video on that. Ever since that whole situation when the NBA took over their ownership, and they got to stand up for themselves at one point or another. They have to stand up for themselves, or just come out and make a statement and let the NBA know that if at any time They have a transcendent superstar, Chris Paul. I feel he was transcendent at that time. He's a smaller guard, but still, he was the best point guard at that time. If we have a transcendent superstar, and you guys are going to push for us to have to get rid of that superstar, then don't even let us be a team in the league. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. But yeah, the whole situation with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it just shouldn't go down. Honestly, this is the Pelicans' fault because they have had opportunities to make trades. Mike Conley's been on the table, Paul Gasol's been on the table, Bradley Beal's been on the table. I even believe Damian Lillard possibly has been on the table. We know what's his name? Vooch. I know this is all very recent stuff, but they could have made those moves to make Anthony feel more comfortable. I know he already wanted to go, but you could do things to let that player know that, oh, we understand that you want to leave, but we're gonna persuade you to stay. You know what I mean? But really, the NBA has to do something about LeBron James. They just have to. It's a conflict of interest. This dude has his hands in everything. We saw what happened with Tyson Chandler, where this guy he has ex-players who wrote his coattails, owing him favors and stuff like that. Like this dude, either you're a player, you're a GM, or you're an owner. Like you gotta pick. It can't be the way that it is. And then on top of that, you have the league helping you, and people making excuses, talking about what is it? What's the Golden State Warriors a super team? I could say after the addition of Kevin Durant, they did become a super team, but that whole 73-win team was not a super team. The only transcendent player on that team was Steph. Klay Thompson gets hot on condition. Like you can't have just Klay Thompson on a team. For the team to be a super team, you have to have two players who could take over a whole game themselves. You think that if you had, who can I say? I'll say even a decent point guard. I'll say Drew Holiday, right? And then Klay Thompson is your number one option. That team is not going anywhere because you will have 2 or 3 players sitting on Klay Thompson. He can catch and shoot all he wants. He's going to shoot that shit straight into the stands. Draymond Green, don't even get me started. He only shoots open jump shots. Yes, he's a great defender. Other than that, no. And when we go back into that finals, there was so many injuries with that 73-win team that if LeBron James did not win, he should have been ashamed of himself. But anyways, I just got off rambling. We all know what the real point is. That environment is toxic. It is. The fans are toxic. The media is toxic. They're fighting to have true super teams built. They're trying to have true super teams built. Remember, in OKC, we understand Kevin Durant was the best player, but he was not the number one option. So you had someone who's basically the best complementary player in the NBA join the Golden State Warriors. We have to understand Kevin Durant is a complementary player. You know what I mean? He's not going to be the alpha of that team. He's a complementary player. He joined that team, and he just, I guess he upgraded the engine. You know what I mean? They say he's a high gun. I agree. He's not taking over no team. You know what I mean? But they're trying to build a true super team with players who have been alphas on their teams. Anthony Davis, You know, he might not be the best leader, but he was an alpha on that team, and he has the skills, all the abilities to do great things. I'm not saying Kevin Durant doesn't, but he never had to be a leader. So you're having two people who were leaders join teams, and then you're trying to have Klay Thompson join that team. So what do you guys want? It's I understand you guys just want the GOAT to have as many rings as possible when all is said and done, but his only competition is the Warriors, and you just want to cripple them to the point like they can't even compete, and then let this dude win. So why how does it make sense? And then on top of that, the best team in the East, the Celtics, I'm sticking with that. You want them to cripple themselves and get rid of Kyrie Irving and lose Kyrie Irving and have him join the Lakers. So who is it? It's basically the Lakers have every single last All-Star on their team, and then the rest of the league has nothing. It just doesn't make sense. Bye, bro.